Hello, Garry families. Welcome to this week's episode of the Garry 5, where we bring our Garry home to your home. This week we wanted to talk about some testing that's going to be happening here at Garry. So we have Dr. Watson with us to explain the test that we're going to be taking and the importance of it. So take it away, Dr. Watson.
Thank you, Devony. Well, next week is the all-wonderful MAP testing, which is Measures of Academic Progress, which is the second time we're doing this year. We do it in the fall, and we also do it right now in the spring. So the information I'm going to share with you right now, I've actually shared with the students in an advisory video, because when we take that test next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I want to make sure that you fully understand what the kids are doing. Now, the MAP test is very different from the purpose of the Smarter Balance test that you know that we take every May because the state requires it. And you get those results, and the whole purpose of those results where kids get a level 1, 2, 3, 4 score is really to look to see how well they are doing at grade level. And are they meeting grade level curriculum standards as designed by the state of Washington? However, the MAP testing and its purpose is very, very different. So when we say measures of academic progress, we're talking about academic growth. And the key word is growth here. Because what I want to know as a principal and what the educators in the school want to know, when your child came in September and took the first MAP test, and they take it in reading and math, they take two different MAP tests. When they took the reading test and then the math test in September, we want to know in March how far they grew academically. How much did they learn when they were here at our school? That is awesome information for us to analyze and figure out how we can help kids do better. So for example, a report comes out like this, and this would be an example with reading, and writing is just like, or math is just like it. So in the fall, there's a first series of scores, and in the spring, there's another series of scores. Now, what is important about this, they're just numbers here that are hard to make sense of. What does the number actually mean? And I'm going to look at the 6th grade number right here, about a 208. What does that number mean? Well, this just happens to be on this MAP test. It happens to be, this is the average score that a 6th grader across the nation gets, is 206. That's the average, right? And when a student takes the test again in the springtime, the average 6th grader across the nation will score a 212. So our kids will get similar numbers like this. And we are looking at that to see how far did they grow. It's only a 4-point difference. And all we're looking is for 4 points is adequate growth in a 7 to 9 month period. And that's what we're looking for. Are kids learning and growing? Now, you can look at an 8th grade score right here, and it's 217 to 219. That would be the average, and that would show growth like kids across the nation. So what if a student who is an 8th grader didn't score a 217? What if they scored a 208? Does that mean that they're behind? Yeah, it does, because being on the average would be a 217. Now, if an 8th grader was like, shoot, I got a 208 in the fall. Well, if a student was here all the time at school, doing all their work, doing all of their homework, doing all their learning, really trying, well, there's a chance that this 8th grader who scored a 208 could actually jump over here to a 219. What is critical in all of this is that students understand this test next week, it's about their own personal improvement and their own growth. They may not be at grade level standard, but what we want them to do is to grow wherever they're at and learn, and they have a lot of ownership with that. and we do as parents and a community, a school community, and working together to help our kids. Now I'm going to turn this over to Devony.
So as parents, next week there's some things that we can do to help our students do well. Now our students, they need to show up, they need to try their hardest. Our teachers are doing their part. They are creating schedules to help the testing to happen, changing some environments so that students can be successful. But as parents, there's a couple things we can do. I have students who will be testing next week, and actually I have a high schooler who's taking the SAT today. So things like getting a good night's sleep the night before. Maybe if your student has some test anxiety, talking about it over the next couple of days is helpful. I have one that does have a lot of test anxiety, so just making sure that we are talking about it and setting up a way for him to be successful. And then breakfast the morning of is going to be really important, something with protein. My kids love to just grab some Pop-Tarts and head out the door, but that's a day to really think intentionally about what they're eating so that they have the brain power to get through the day. And if you have any questions, any concerns, please reach out. I'd be happy to talk to you. I have students who struggle with testing, and so I know that preparing for testing can be really important so that we can see adequately how they're growing and help them to do their best. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, and please make sure your students are here next week and help at home so that they can have a great testing week, and then they can have Friday off. Bye guys.
Bye everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, catch us next week.